Prashanth Subramanian is a seasoned entrepreneur with over 25 years of experience driving digital transformation and innovation through technology. As co-founder and executive director of QuadraSystems.net, he leads efforts to build agile, intelligent enterprises that seamlessly connect business outcomes with cutting-edge IT solutions. Mr. Parin Sanghvi is the founder and CEO of Reelo, a pioneering customer data and marketing platform designed specifically for the restaurant and food and beverage industry. With a foundation in industrial and product design from the MIT Institute of Design, Mr. Parin combines creative expertise with strategic business acumen to drive innovation in customer retention and engagement. Mr. Dinesh Angapan is the cluster business head at Swiggy, where he leads business operations and growth initiatives across South India. With over 10 years of experience in leading diverse business teams, Mr. Dinesh has developed deep expertise in the food tech and e-commerce sectors, driving business expansion and operational excellence. Over to you, Mr. Prashanth.
Thank you very much. I am probably one of the few outsiders in this room, coming from an industry which has traditionally had no connection with food, but which now, I think, has probably started playing one of the most outsized impacts on this industry. So what's the sound that you all typically associate with fine dining? No? It's the gentle clink of plates and cutlery. Today, I think it's preceded by the clatter of keyboards, no? Or mobile phone beeps and sounds, because that is how the digital tools and tech is reshaping the food industry. Which also means that the way you used to build a food brand, which is maybe, I was just talking to one of our panelists a little while ago, it used to be something that you build with decades of hard work, with the passion and dedication of a founder, which today I think is transformed into a position where you can just build a food brand, a pan-India food brand, and aspire to do that starting from the first year of your operations. That's made possible by so much of shifts that we have seen: technology, consumer sentiments, the kind of shifts we are seeing in people's perception when it comes to ordering and eating food online. So with that said, the question today is, how do you now build a food brand that lasts? It's definitely not going to happen the way it happened in the past. It's going to be different. But to answer that question, let's ask our panelists, how is this going to get done? The introduction for the panelists is already done, and I'm trying to moderate this across 4 themes. The first, I think, is the aggregators' impact, right? And we have Swiggy right here with us. I think the aggregators have made the biggest impact for the food business in recent times. So the first question is, and this is something I want all the panelists to answer, what we will try to do is to get as short an answer as possible from each of you, because Pradeep has put us on the dot in terms of time, and we will try to be the panel that finishes on time. He's promised to give us 2 goodie bags if we do it on time. So let's go for it. So the first question, and I hope I can get a couple of line answer from all of you, is how has the entry of aggregators changed the food business? And we have somebody from the inside who's going to answer us as well, but if you can have a quick response. So we'll start with you, Parin.
So I think the aggregators have really enabled the industry to move forward. They are going to stay. They have played a key role in advancing this industry. The right balance between the restaurants' profits and margins with aggregators' interests will be a key to that. But I feel without the aggregators, this industry would not have been where we are today.
Right. So Swiggy's been doing this for about 10 years. So I'll do a very short capsule of what the journey has been, right? I think one of our first breakthroughs is just solving for convenience. We stand for convenience. One of the ways that we took food to people's homes was by making sure that you're able to order it within a bunch of few clicks, get it in a span of 30 minutes. I think that's been a first breakthrough. The second thing that we've been working on, and I think kudos to all the restaurant partners that we have, is on how we've been able to partner with them to offer a variety of solutions, variety of use cases for consumers, whether it is, say, snacking in a particular say, Momo, for example, for customers in Coimbatore, right? Or something that is probably not found very easily in other parts of the country in Bangalore, right? So getting this exploration done, getting, say, customers what they want, right? I think that's, been one of our biggest value adds.
Fantastic. So, and I had a follow-up question to you. So, from someone who just made sure you could get food from any restaurant to any consumer anywhere in the country, how are you also evolving as a platform? And you touched a little bit about that, but how are you evolving as a platform to actually help build the brands of the future? Because today, if I use your platform, well, I say I mean any of the entrepreneurs in this room, they can literally launch and become, a multi-million brand as quickly as possible. So how are you making that transition? Because that's a fundamental shift from what you started with, right? Now today you've become a platform for success, restaurant success, if I could just summarize it that way. And we'll hear more from Shravana on that as well.
So I think that's been a part of our story since the very beginning, right? Swiggy has always been a partnership deal, right? It's never just been about us and delivery riders. It's that triarchy of us, restaurant partners and delivery riders, eventually making it work for customers, right? And as far as restaurant growth is concerned, how we've evolved as a partner for restaurants is concerned, right? There are many things that we've uncovered as well, right? Through this entire journey that we've incorporated into our product, how the restaurant app shows for you, what are the opportunities that are there for your growth once you onboard yourself on Swiggy. Mostly, I think the direction that we are currently working on is on how to tap into newer categories for growth. For a restaurant who wants to now onboard, the market for delivery is already there, right? We are already penetrated pretty well in cities like Coimbatore and Bangalore and so on. For a restaurant to come in, there are either two paths. Either you come in and compete with another restaurant, or you partner with us to see what is it that we can do to sort of grow the business together, right? And I think that's where the magic happens. The biggest success for us is when we've been able to do things like Bolt, where partners have come forward and said that, hey, we will create a separate, channel. We'll create a separate kitchen for you for Bolt, right? As long as we're able to meet the, quick service timelines and as long as you're able to take it quickly to the brand. Now that's growth. That's value add for the customer. That's great business for the restaurant partner. And I think that's a lot of goodness for us as well.
Fantastic. Shravana, so you answered the first question, and I'll come up with a follow-up question for you as well.
Cool. So I think in last 10 years, food marketplaces have been able to actually do a wonderful job. What started as something beginning, now it is mature stage. I think they've been, over the course of years, they had to use brute force to an extent. Controlling the supply chain end to end to give the kind of experiences they've given. That has helped build multiple brands. And COVID just showed how important these food marketplaces are. Again, I think apart from this, because they had to use the brute force in last 8 to 10 years, I just want to emphasize that because someone who built auto category myself, I understand how important it is to keep your stakeholders happy and you solve for their problem, somehow actually it helps. So I think actually next few years are going to be solving for this stakeholder preferences, but yeah.
Yeah, and you're definitely set to disrupt the space, right? You are coming in here with an intention to disrupt this aggregator space as well. No, but as your name says, Rapido, I mean, are you also... do you also think that this emphasis on just delivering food in the shortest time possible is also impacting how food that is beautifully served on a plate today comes in a misshapen box? Is that also compromising some of the experience, or how do you see that?
See, it is definitely experience compromise if you compare eating at a restaurant versus ordering food. I don't think actually there is any way to actually compare those two experiences. But again, I think as platforms, as density increases, we can actually make a lot of magic. And that also means the way we deliver, how consistently we deliver, we can actually change that. For someone who has been having logistics background, there is some optimization that we can actually do there, and but there is no way we can actually match the experience of eating outside at a restaurant.
Fantastic. That actually leads me to my second theme, which is on shifting consumer preferences, and maybe your answer is a segue to my question as well. So yes, there is no substitute to dining in. But we are also seeing a shift, right? People, I think, today just don't mind. Even the way meals are prepared and made are more to, okay, will this go well, in a delivery box as compared to just serving it on a table. So do you see this as a permanent shift in consumer sentiment? Are they more comfortable? I prioritize convenience over sitting down and eating a leisurely meal. Is that a permanent shift? Or do you think that we will see a resurgence of dine-in? We saw that with online shopping, right? Amazon themselves started, physical stores. The fact that it didn't really take off is a different story altogether. But do you see that ever coming back? And we'll probably come the other way around with the questions now.
Sure. See, a lot of panelists today spoke about how Indian eating out habit is going to change. I think next 5 to 10 years, we'll see a lot of people going out and eating. That's a universe. As part of that is ordering food online, right? Currently, the share of food ordering online as a part of actually eating out is very small. That is definitely going to change. A lot of people that, as a part of actually this new initiative, we're actually talking to a lot of consumers, doing a lot of FGDs. One thing which is very clear is people want that convenience, but we are Indians at the end of the day, right? So people also want it at a right cost. If platforms can actually provide that, I think that percentage shift between actually going out and ordering food would change. It'll increase slightly, but I think eating out itself will actually increase over the course of next 10 years.
Absolutely. We'll come to probably the person or the company the most data in this room, right? So what is your data telling you? And I know I shouldn't be asking numbers, but are you seeing preferences? Because consumer preferences evolve over the years that you've been in business. Is data, one is founder's intuition, right? All of you as entrepreneurs in the food industry have intuition. But what is your data telling you? What is the data-driven decision making tell you?
Right. So, Prashanth, absolutely, right? Preferences as far as customers go, right? Like Sharon had rightly pointed out, convenience is an up-and-coming thing, right? And I think there's a lot of different use cases why or how customers approach, say, in general, the concept of eating. The one thing that I can say for sure, this business together of people eating inside as well as people ordering out, that as a superset is growing massively, right? And that is through multiple factors, a lot of working families, people who are bachelors who are trying to figure out their meal. And in general, a preference for good food, better supply that is available in the market. What we're seeing in terms of this preference for eating inside, say, as a certain set of comfort food or things that they're actually happy doing it while they're watching a video game or watching Netflix, that I think will continue to do, right? This does not have to be the cost of each other. I think what's definitely going to happen is both these sets will grow. What we are working on is on how is it that we can get good, better food, right, to customers through every step of the way. I can tell you maybe one thing that could be a very big opportunity. So coffee is actually one of our fastest growing categories that is there. And the coffee category is precisely a working professional or someone who's young, right, who wants a very well packaged item that is delivered in, say, 15, 20 minutes on the way to their office or next to their office. It could be anything. It could be a takeaway outlet. It could be a delivery space. It could be any of these channels. But the use case pretty much remains. So this is where it's going. And if you're looking at growth, if you're looking at, okay, how is it we're going to look at dine-in as a clear pivot or delivery as a clear pivot and so on. I think working on all of these is important. It really depends on your product. Ultimately, that comes first. Where you're planning to sell your product will have to indulge in each of these things.
Fantastic, thank you. Parin, so, in our industry, when we deal with banks have evolved from walk-in branches to apps that you use. Many of the younger generation just knows only the bank app. They probably haven't walked into the branch at all. So the brand experience is now defined by how the app looks and feels, more than how the person in the branch talks to you. So in your case, and since that's your business model as well, how do you think now restaurants need to evolve just beyond, there's obviously food, which is the whole story, but then the surround factors such as the digital experience, the app, and the other aspects, how do you think restaurants need to now look at those?
So if you look at what has happened in this industry over the last 8 years, what started as a small win with these aggregators has somehow become their biggest enemy with this discounts, right? So most of these restaurants are now renting customers to these guys, and that's become a big challenge for them to in terms of retention and experiences. To what the nation Sharvana said, right? Eating out is going to continue. It's evolving more than ever. Even the platforms have launched specific dine out apps like Scenes and District. So there is a huge demand of physical tangible experiences, and today more than ever restaurant brands will have to figure out what does a new age customer experience look like. How do you deliver that digital experience with the use of technology about personalization? When you go to Starbucks or when you go to Shopper Stop, they know their customers better than their families do. And I think that is going to be a key factor for any restaurant brand today with respect to how do you turn data into revenue. A lot of folks spoke about data and the importance of data, and I feel the brands of winning today are able to turn their data and their customer preferences into experiences that keeps bringing them back again and again. So we've seen brands trying to stand out from the competition by creating new age experiences through use of technology, whether it is a use of CRM, whether it is to understand personalized marketing to customers on WhatsApp, not push marketing, whether it is to capture customer feedback in store to improve their experiences, or to be able to build a community of loyal customers, reward them, make them feel special. And those are the ways that will really help brand sustain and survive in the next 5 years.
Fantastic. No, that reminds one of airline experiences, right? How they personalize, the food they serve, the experience that they give you. That makes all the difference in creating a winning brand. So coming to the first question that I started with, the question of building a brand by starting with a physical presence, a successful restaurant that then you expand later, or starting with a digital brand, which then probably evolves into physical stores as well. I know there's no clear answer to this, but what are your thoughts on that? What do you think will happen? How do you see the shift? Because starting a physical restaurant today means a lot of investment, especially if you want to rent a good place, as compared to starting a digital brand, not cheap either. But what would you advocate to someone who's planning to start out in the food industry? Go digital from day one, or no, be successful physically before venturing into digital? Is there any right or wrong answer?
There is no right or wrong answer, but I would add on to what the previous folks said in the previous panels, right? I think cloud kitchens will never be able to make money in the next 200 years. I agree with what Ashish said, right? So I do feel that having a physical presence and having an extension with delivery or digital would make sense, would be a right approach to take, go with. Where you start small in a physical location, test the model, have a product market fit, build a strong digital presence and community. I think there's a brand in Bangalore, juice brand, who stood out with a very, very weird. So I think a lot of brands are going to take efforts in getting recognized, building that community, and then they're going to be able to scale. But there is no right. We've seen brands who are investing more in physical brands, and the location which you choose is also very important with respect to where. If you're a QSR, you're going to find malls. If you are a fine dine, you're going to find spaces which allows you to create that experience. But one thing we have seen is that a lot of kitchen optimizations, so a lot of decisions regarding the space to have kitchens has changed completely, because now even when you start a physical brand, you will have an arm which will deliver food. So the way you look at building your interiors of the kitchen has changed completely within what it was 5 years ago, because now you need to incorporate your delivery as a key way to also get your food out in your periphery. So that's what has changed a lot.
Dinesh.
So, Prashanth, do you have Snapchat?
Sorry, what was that?
Do you have Snapchat?
No, I don't even have Instagram, so.
No? So, I think this is one of the very aha moments for me, right? So, I've been brought up on WhatsApp, and we were doing an understanding of, okay, where do our customers lie? These, people from different ages. And Gen Z thrives on Snapchat, right? And I think what we've realized is, obviously, for any brand, the product comes first. What they're trying to sell in which market comes first. But more than anything, for brands that are looking to really grow fast and still do it in a sustainable manner, it need not be just the tools that are there on the aggregator, right? Whether it's ads or discounts. It could also very intelligently, smartly be you targeting the right customer in the right way, right? Knowing who your customers are, right? For the next 5 to 10 years, this is the category, right? That is basically going to grow into one of our most consuming, cohorts. And from a where they lie point of view, there are stores that are deep red, right? That on their face of the store itself, there's deep red, themed closer to say Lord of the Rings or video games and so on and so forth. That actually appeal to them. Now that's a very key thing. You have to understand who these people are. Where do they consume their information? Whether it's different apps, whether they look at a TV channel for the most of the time, or are they spending time on Instagram? Which place are we really actually consuming information? And going there and making sure that you're present there, right?
Right.
And there are very intelligent ways to do it, very hacky ways to do it. It can be very low cost for you, right? There's a thriving community of influencers in multiple channels.
Right.
There are people who do excellently well on Instagram. There are people who do excellently well on Twitch for a gamer.
Right.
Right? So I think that's the direction it needs to take, right? Always appealing to the customer, building a brand comes first and foremost compared to things that you're doing on, say, a growth plan or how am I going to hit a certain number in a particular month, right? I think we very closely resonate with what Raghav was saying. There's a long-term view for your brand, right? And there are short-term tools that are there, multiple short-term tools, right? So that's how it needs to be.
Fantastic. That's really insightful. Thank you. And Shravana, what would you say?
Cool. So I'll answer it with an anecdote. So as a part of building Rapido Food, we've been talking to a lot of users. And one of the interesting questions that we asked them is, in last 6 months, how many new restaurants or how many new food joints that they have tried? Honestly, we have asked this from Gen Z to everyone. And most, it was surprising for us, right? Most of them don't explore new restaurants at all. And even if they do, they do it in offline first and online. And whenever they explore a new restaurant, more often than not, the reason is word of mouth. Somebody recommended it, right? So at least I have a strong opinion on this. So building a brand offline is a lot easier than you can use Cloud Kitchen to scale it up. So
Fantastic insight. So I also, as a panelist, I'm expected to put everybody on the mat with a difficult question. So, the last question, which you all know, having sat in many panels, is what's the one piece of advice you'd want to give to the audience on building a food brand that lasts? Just 1 or 2 lines, please. Given that Pradeep is going to throw a mic at me in any time right now.
So I think where I've seen brands succeed really well is when they look at online delivery as a part of their strategy, and I think not the end goal in itself, right? The business is ultimately taking good food to customers. I think as long as you're able to set sights on it, most of the other things will fall.
After speaking to over thousands of restaurateurs, one advice that I would definitely, and I've heard this from many, is that a lot of restaurant owners who are starting new think about acquisition as their primary thing. They focus on acquiring new customers. That's like the primary thing. I would recommend investing in retention from day one.
Fantastic.
That's one advice that I would.
It's fantastic. And Shravana.
cool. There's one saying that we keep using within Rapido Food, which is distribution is not equal to demand. You can actually go on multiple channels to create brand. At the end of the day, if your product is not good, you can't build a brand. So
Focus on the core value proposition.
Yes.
That's food. Fantastic. Thank you. And Pradeep,
Thank you so much, Prashanth, for being on time. Thank you so much, panel, as well.
Thank you very much.
May I request Ms. Anusha Ravi, charter member of TiE Coimbatore and one of our sponsors, to kindly come and give away a token of our love. And as Ranjana says, a big token of our love. That's all.